I don't think I have any news, but do you guys have news?
I have a decent amount, yeah. So Ben posted about this before, but there's a trailer that came out for Star Wars Eclipse, which is a Star Wars game created by, what's the studio called? Quantum something? I can't remember. I believe it's a Canadian studio. People behind Detroit Become Human. So I figure an RPG of sorts, which would make sense. The trailer wasn't, I mean, game trailers are bad. It's not representative of anything. So at least in the studio, I figure it's a story-driven game. That's interesting. It looks, when you look at it, the style definitely looks like the studio style. I can't tell what it is. Maybe everything's a bit glossy, maybe like slightly glossy a little bit. But yeah, when I saw the studio, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Aside from that, I posted about this on Discord before, but this is sort of a game show hybrid thing. So Arcane is a show on Netflix, and it's currently Netflix's highest rated show, I believe, created by Riot Games, and I believe by French animators, a French animation studio, I think. Don't quote me on that, though. I don't know what it's called. It's at the animation studio, sadly. And the story is set in the League of Legends universe, as are all Riot Games, essentially. So, yeah. Alibaba found a exploit in a Java library called Log4J. So it's a library used by many large applications just for logging various things. Very simple thing to do, right? It's used a lot. So Alibaba found a exploit in it, and promptly everybody and their mothers was trying to patch it because I believe it allow people to gain remote control of your computer. Remote code execution. So yes, in theory, you could gain control of someone's computer doing that. So effective things were Minecraft, Steam, and iCloud. Minecraft already patched it early today. They already released a patch for it. Luckily, it's just logging. So worst case scenario, you just use a different logging library. I assume it's not a big deal, but I'm not really sure how it's patched. But it was patched, and what's interesting is, if I understand correctly, so the patched version is 1.18.1. If I understand correctly, all versions of Minecraft before that, in Java Edition, are permanently exploitable. Oh, sorry, from 1.6. I believe it started at 1.6 is when they added the library. So 1.6 to 1.18.0, I presume, was before 1.18.1. I guess those are all exploitable, which is really bad. For reference, 1.6 came out about 10 years ago. So that is a lot of Minecraft. If you didn't know, there are a lot of servers, people who run old Minecraft versions because either they didn't like a feature that was added, say, post 1.7 was like the combat update. Some people don't like that, stuff like that. Speedrunning is done on certain, there's like pre 1.7 category of speedrunning because 1.7 was the big update. So there's a whole separate category, post 1.7. And as well, there are, mod support. Mod support currently, the standard is 1.12.2. That is I'm not going to explain why that's a thing, but if you want to play modded Minecraft, chances are you're going to find the mod you want to play on 1.12.2. That was a long time ago, and that is that is at the time where this thing is still exploitable for that version, right? So it is possible that people who, I believe there are certain essentially patch mod that supposedly patch the issue. Unclear whether they do or not, but yeah, that's a thing. So yeah, it's kind of I actually know somebody who just shut down their server because they run modded server, and 1.18.1 does not have great mod support. So yeah, but it's interesting because essentially in Minecraft, you have these sort of waves of mod support. So essentially what happens is mod support gets really good for the version before a version where Mojang changes something. So I believe it's like 1.13 that came out, and that changed the mod API. So essentially, to bring a mod from 1.12.2 to 1.13 would be a decent amount of work. So people didn't want to do it, which is why the current standard is 1.12.2. It's like the version everyone's familiar with for people who mod, right? They don't have to learn a new thing, stuff like that. So it'd be interesting if that standard version shifts up to 1.18.1 in light of this. So yeah, because people want to say, I want to play modded with the new versions, but it's not practical because modders would have to be playing an endless game of catch up for every single update that breaks the modding API, essentially, which doesn't happen that infrequently. Right. Yeah, and also 1.14.4 specifically, I believe, has really bad performance in terms of multiplayer servers. So there's that, which I don't know if it's been fixed ever. So aside from that news, I happen to notice Halo Infinite is number 3 on most concurrent players on Steam currently. Halo Infinite came out about a month ago. It doesn't really surprise me that much. What's interesting, I think is more interesting, is that Team Fortress 2 is at number 10. And Team Fortress 2 being owned by Valve, Valve games have pretty much always been within the top 10. So it's very close to being not in the top 10 anymore, which would be a historic moment considering I think it's been in top 10 for, essentially as long as I've been checking Steam charts, pretty much. It's a very long time. So, don't worry, Valve. Counter-Strike is still number 1 and Dota is still number 2. Aside from that, the Game Awards happened. And I entirely missed it. It's crazy. I heard nobody talking about it. I don't remember what happened. I saw some winner. I was like, wait, this happened? It was literally the same day. And I was like, oh, wow. It was on a Thursday. So I would never, I didn't expect that. I thought the voting period was still on. Apparently not. So Game of the Year was It Takes Two, created by Hazelight Studios and published by EA. Some other notable things were Best Game Direction was Deathloop. Best Indie Game was, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Kena Bridge of Spirits. It's crazy how many of these games I don't recognize. It really shows how this year I've been really not up to date on the gaming world. Like last Game of the Year awards, I knew most of the games, right? A couple I was like, I don't know what that is. This time around, I know almost nothing. Best debut indie game, also same game by Ember Lab, which is interesting because if you have a best debut indie game category and a best indie game category, you figure the thing that's in both is the only thing that's going to win for best indie, right? Because if you also manage to be in the more specific category of best debut indie specifically, I mean, you're probably winning the best debut indie if you're running with all the other indies as well, right? I guess that's a topic for another time. And best score music composed by a Japanese composer whose name I do not want to take the chance of pronouncing, but it's for a game called Near Replicants, which at least I've heard of that. That's cool. Best audio design is interesting. Forza Horizon 5. I played Forza Horizon 4. It does have good audio design. Not sure for the 5th. I was interested is that Battlefield 2042 is not nominated. I was wondering is because it came out too late and they have a buffer period where, if it comes out too late in the year, you're just considered for the next year. So maybe Battlefield 2042, we considered it for Game of the Year for, next year. I don't know if that's true actually because Forza Horizon 4 came out, I think, literally the same week or a week after. It was very close, whatever it was. So either right on the deadline, or they really just didn't think Battlefield 42 was had a great audio design, which I've never played 42, but based on the other ones, it's pretty good. And and also Life is Strange won something again. So yeah.
Life is Strange is a terrible game. Maybe we should do a crossover episode just so I can talk about how terrible Life is Strange is.
Does Life is Strange have music in it?
It's terrible. Yeah, it does. It has
I'm sure it does. I just can't remember it.
generic MIDI, I think it's like some MIDI music or something.
Oh no. Just raw MIDI? No,
I don't know, maybe. I don't remember. That game is one of the worst good games anyone ever talks about. Ben, imagine putting a soap opera and making a soap opera a boring, it's like an app, basically. Where
there's an app version, right?
Yeah, there's an app version that sadly is not even its native format. And sorry, it's just so ridiculous to me. It's a soap opera that you play through by just talking to characters, and your choices don't matter anyway. That is Life is Strange series. It's basically a comic book that is as interesting as a soap opera. So
yeah. Although this is a new Life is Strange, so maybe they stepped up their game. Maybe. I doubt it. Maybe. Life is Strange True Colors is what it's called.
If they increase their goodness by 100%, it would still be a terrible game. That is my humble opinion.
Yeah. And lastly, the last thing I want to highlight is best performance, which is given to an actor or actress. And that was interesting is Giancarlo Esposito was nominated. He's an actor who has played in probably best known for Breaking Bad, and he's also played in Better Call Saul, the prequel to Breaking Bad. He did not win. He was in Far Cry 6. They used him to advertise the heck out of the game. Every single YouTube advertisement. Did you know Giancarlo Esposito in Far Cry 6? Oh yeah, I figured it out at this point. I will still not play the game just because that one guy. But nothing against Far Cry 6. I just don't know. I guess maybe it was a worthy advertising technique. It didn't work on me though. Instead, Maggie Robertson won for her performance as Lady Dimitrescu in Resident Evil Village. So that's kind of cool. As far as I'm aware, Maggie Robertson is not a seasoned actress, so it's kind of cool to see new actors and actresses going up against someone who's like been established. And also it's cool to see an established actor within the games industry. That does happen, but not all that often for sure. I think that's all my news. I had a lot, but yeah.
Cool. What about you, Ben?
I think the big news is that today's the release of the new West Side Story to much acclaim, or not acclaim, but necessarily, I don't know if it's been acclaimed, but too much excitement in all over the place. So I don't know. Well, I'm sure I'll see it eventually and comment on that.
It's a Spielberg film, I believe, or is that wrong?
Is it? I honestly I'm not sure. I haven't paid much attention to it. One of those things where the more hype that it's been getting, the less I've paid attention to it.
Yeah, I the only time I saw the trailer was when I was in the theater this past weekend, and
I feel like they're trying really hard. While I'm on YouTube or something, or YouTube Music, getting the 2-minute ad of whoever is playing Maria, close up her face singing. I'm yeah, I've seen this too. I'm not even watching it. Stop showing it to me. It's not gonna make me want to watch it anymore. I've seen the original film. But
yeah. I don't think I actually have any film news other than I'm interested to see what 2022 brings in terms of films. We're about to enter the dark season of films, which is right after Oscar bait season, which is basically now, and now until Christmas basically is Oscar bait season, and then we get a whole bunch of garbage films in January. It's always what happens every year. So we'll see. It probably means I'll just be watching tons of Blu-rays instead of going to the theater. But yeah, we'll see. I'm kind of scared for cinema in its native format in the theater. It doesn't look very good, but that's pretty much it. If you stuck with us for this long, you guys are awesome. Just hit the thumbs up button. That would be the best thing that you can do to help us right now. The second best thing you can do is check us out on mixedmedia.locals.com, or the link is in the description as well. Or you can go to mixedmediapodcast.com, which we now own, to find links to anything that you would possibly need. On the Locals page, there's plenty of perks for you to partake in. If you support us for $3 a month, we super appreciate it. Hopefully we're here next week with a beta version of the podcast that's even better, but the support really does help with hopefully getting to more ears. It's a tedious process to build these things. It's a process that not many people are familiar with. I've spent a lot of time working for other people doing this kind of stuff. Hopefully the time I can now add to this podcast will make that better here. But yeah, the support definitely helps. Join our Discord. Besides that, I hope you have a great week.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Thanks for watching. Yep.
Bye.
I don't wanna cause no problems. I just wanna live my life, but I keep on hearing about nonsense. Me and my dons ain't mobsters, but when you see imposters, we know how to read them faces, same way you know how to read them comments. If you wanna talk, let's talk, but around here, make sure you're walking your talk is constant.